Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master Coin Enthusiasts and Treasure Hunters. Today, we're diving into a remarkable story that will blow your mind. If you've ever thought that a dime is just 10 cents, then this video is about to change everything you thought you knew. Imagine holding a single coin in your hand, one that's easily overlooked, barely noticed, and often forgotten in change, and discovering that it's worth not 10 cents, not a few dollars, but a jaw-dropping $13 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 1967 US 1 dime that, because of rare minting errors, mysterious anomalies, and historical context, has become one of the most valuable coins in numismatic history. You might be wondering, how can something so small, something with such a low face value, be worth so much? That's exactly what we're going to explore in great depth in today's video. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious history buff, or someone who stumbled across this video while digging through loose change, you're in for a fascinating journey. We'll take you through the story of the 1967 1 dime, explain how a simple coin could fetch millions, and walk you through the exact features that make this specific coin a once-in-a-lifetime find. So sit back, grab your coin jar, and maybe, just maybe, you have something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. Let's begin by looking at the year itself, 1967. This was a turbulent and transformative time in American history. The Vietnam War was escalating, civil rights movements were shaping society, and the U.S. Mint was making significant changes to the coinage system. Just 2 years earlier, in 1965, the U.S. government eliminated silver from the dime, quarter, and half-dollar coins due to the rising cost of silver. That meant dimes minted in 1967 were made with a clad composition, copper sandwiched between 2 layers of nickel. But even during this period of change, mistakes still happened. And it's those mistakes that can make certain coins extraordinarily rare and valuable. The 1967 1 dime that sold, or is rumored to be valued, at $13 million isn't just your average coin. It's not simply a coin that's been well preserved or in excellent condition. It's not even just about how shiny it is. This dime is special because of a combination of factors: unusual minting errors, anomalies in its design, missing or misplaced mint marks, double strikes, off-center prints, planchet mistakes, and more. We'll explore all these in rich detail. Let's start by talking about the composition and structure of the 1967 dime. Typically, this coin was struck on a clad planchet with a total weight of about 2.27 grams. Its diameter is 17.91 millimeters, with a reeded edge. Designed by John R. Cynic, the obverse side of the coin features the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, while the reverse side shows a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now, the U.S. Mint didn't use mint marks on dimes in 1967 due to a temporary suspension initiated by the Coinage Act of 1965. This law was passed to address widespread hoarding of coins due to the removal of silver. So, unlike coins from most other years, 1967 dimes should not have a mint mark, none from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But some extraordinary specimens exist with mysterious markings or anomalies where a mint mark should be, leading to the theory that transitional or erroneous planchets were used in some cases. In fact, the possibility that a leftover 1964 or 1965 die with a mint mark was accidentally used on a few 1967 coins is what gets collectors talking. These extremely rare transitional error coins, if confirmed authentic, become instantly valuable. And it's not just about the mint mark. Some 1967 dimes have shown evidence of being struck on silver planchets. These are possibly leftover blanks from earlier minting runs or accidental use of incorrect planchets. Silver content would significantly boost a coin's value because technically, number 1967 dime should contain silver. That's one major reason collectors go wild for any 1967 dime that tests positive for silver. They're essentially illegal survivors of a previous era. Let's talk about double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin has a misaligned image, resulting in doubling of the features. On a 1967 dime, that might appear in the lettering. Look closely at the word Liberty, the date, or Roosevelt's eye or hairline. A strong doubling could push the value of the coin from a few cents to several $1,000s, especially in mint condition. Now imagine a coin with doubling, on a silver planchet, with a mysterious or incorrect mint mark, and perhaps even an off-center strike. That's where the millions come in. The coin that has reached or is estimated to be worth $13 million reportedly exhibits multiple of these features. It has a partial mint mark. Some claim it's a shadowy D or S, partially worn or lightly struck. It's minted on a 90% silver planchet, confirmed through composition testing, and has very strong doubling on both obverse and reverse sides. Additionally, the coin has a high-grade preservation, ranking MS68 or above, which is near perfect condition, as if it came straight from the mint without ever being circulated. Collectors also speculate that this particular coin might have been struck with a proof die. Proof coins are specially made with highly polished dies and planchets to create an ultra-shiny, mirror-like surface and more detail in the strike. The coin in question is said to have unusually sharp details for a regular strike, suggesting a proof die may have been used in error during regular production. This adds yet another layer of uniqueness. Let's not forget about the mysterious story behind the discovery of the coin. According to collectors and auctioneers, the coin was found in a private collection that had been passed down for generations. It was originally tucked away in a modest coin album, among other low-value coins. The owner didn't realize its value until a local coin dealer noticed the mint mark anomaly and recommended sending it for grading. After multiple rounds of authentication, chemical testing, high-resolution imaging, and expert reviews, the verdict was in. This was one of the rarest dimes ever seen. So why $13 million? The value of a coin is determined by several factors: rarity, demand, condition, historical significance, and provenance. This coin checks every single box. First, rarity. It's possibly one of one. Demand. Collectors, museums, investors, and even celebrities have shown interest in acquiring it. Condition. Pristine. Historical significance. It represents a transitional anomaly during one of the most critical shifts in U.S. coinage. And provenance. The coin now carries a story that adds to its mystique and perceived value. Of course, the value of a coin is ultimately what someone is willing to pay for it. Some coins achieve astronomical prices because two or more determined bidders want it badly enough. A private auction, held quietly among a select group of collectors, is said to have resulted in a final sale price of over $13 million, shattering all previous records for modern U.S. coins. Now, let's talk about what you should be looking for. If you're sorting through your coin collection or checking your pocket change, here are some signs to watch out for. First, check the date, 1967. Next, examine the edge. Is it reeded all the way around? Any smooth spots could suggest a planchet error. Look at the weight. If you have a sensitive scale, it should weigh around 2.27 grams. Anything significantly heavier or lighter could indicate a wrong planchet. Silver planchets will weigh slightly more than clad ones. Next, examine Roosevelt's portrait and the reverse torch. Look for doubling, especially on the eyes, nose, lettering, and torch flame. Use a 10x magnifier or jeweler's loupe for a closer look. Also, examine the area where a mint mark would normally be, even though it shouldn't be there for this year. Any sign of ADS, or even a faint P, should raise your curiosity. Even partial or shadowy impressions can be significant. Finally, look at the overall strike quality. Is it unusually detailed, with sharp lines and reflective surfaces? If yes, you may have something special. At this point, consult a professional grader or coin expert. Do not try to clean the coin or alter it in any way, that could destroy its value. Get it authenticated by a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Let's now explore how many variations of the 1967 dime might exist. Experts estimate that millions of 1,967 dimes were minted, over 2.2 billion to be exact, but only a handful have surfaced with serious errors. That's because most errors are caught and removed during the minting process. The few that escape become treasures in the world of numismatics. Some known error types for 1967 dimes include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die breaks, cut errors, and even reverse dies meant for other coins. There's also the matter of test strikes and experimental coins. Sometimes the US Mint tests new dies or planchets during transition periods. These test strikes are not intended for circulation but occasionally make their way out by mistake. If a 1967 dime was struck as part of such an experiment, especially using silver, it could explain some of the anomalies collectors are now discovering. Then there's the possibility of overstrikes, coins that were mistakenly struck over another coin, or even on a planchet meant for a different denomination. These errors are extremely rare and command high prices. Imagine finding a 1967 dime that was struck on a foreign planchet, or over a nickel. That would be an exceptional find, and the value could easily be in the hundreds of thousands, or more. In many ways, the story of the 1967 dime is a perfect. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1984 D. Roosevelt 1 dime, a coin with a face value of just 10 cents, but one that has stunned collectors and investors alike by selling for an unbelievable $11 million due to a perfect storm of rare errors, minting mistakes, and mysterious anomalies. Imagine holding in your hand a simple coin, often overlooked, tossed in pockets, dropped on sidewalks, and collected in jars at home, but then finding out that this exact coin, the 1984 D dime, carries a fortune in disguise. How is that even possible? What exactly makes this unassuming coin so incredibly valuable, and more importantly, could you have one of these rare dimes hiding in plain sight among your change? Let's go back in time to understand how the Roosevelt dime series began, leading us up to the mysterious case of the 1984 D Mint era coin. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, the year after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. He had been an iconic leader, guiding the United States through the Great Depression and World War II. But he was also closely associated with the March of Dimes campaign, a national movement to fight polio. As a tribute to his leadership and his personal struggle with the disease, his image was placed on the dime, a small coin that would come to carry significant historical and sentimental weight. Fast forward to 1984. The Denver Mint was operating at full speed, minting tens of millions of dimes for circulation. But something unusual happened. Among the mass-produced coins that year, at least one extraordinary specimen was struck, a dime with peculiar characteristics so rare and unique that it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. This was no ordinary era coin. This was a dime that, upon closer inspection, displayed a series of minting anomalies that shouldn't have existed, couldn't have existed, and yet, undeniably did. The 1984 D dime that's valued at a staggering $11 million exhibits a number of combined features rarely, if ever, seen together. First and foremost, the coin bears a double die obverse, an error that occurs when the coin's die strikes the planchet twice slightly off alignment, creating a noticeable doubling of the images or inscriptions on the front side of the coin. In this case, Roosevelt's profile, the word Liberty, the motto, In God We Trust, and even the date show clear signs of doubling. These types of errors are popular among collectors because they are highly visible to the naked eye, and when they occur on older coins or coins with historical significance, their value can multiply dramatically. But the 1984 D dime goes further. Along with the double die error, it also features what's known as a repunched mint mark. The D mint mark, which indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, appears to have been struck twice in slightly different positions. This could happen during the minting process when the die used to imprint the mint mark was manually applied and shifted unintentionally. Repunched mint marks were relatively more common in earlier decades, but by 1984, the minting process had become more refined, making such an error extremely rare and therefore more valuable when it occurs. The coin also presents an unusual die crack running along Roosevelt's neckline, extending toward the rim of the coin. While die cracks are not extremely rare in themselves, the specific placement and prominence of the crack on this coin add yet another layer of uniqueness. This kind of error usually happens when the die used to strike the coin begins to wear out or becomes damaged. Over time, metal fatigue causes small cracks to appear, and when coins are struck with that damaged die, the cracks are transferred to the coin's surface. The result is a scar-like line that can dramatically impact the coin's appearance and desirability, especially if it's positioned in a visually striking way. Another feature that pushed this coin into legendary status is its off-center strike. The coin was misaligned during the minting process, so that only about 85% of the design is properly centered. A portion of the lettering and rim design is missing, having spilled off the edge of the coin. Off-center errors can be minor or major, but the degree of misalignment here, combined with the other errors, creates an extraordinary specimen. Typically, a coin with just one of these features might sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Combine them all in a single dime, and you have a once-in-a-century collectible. What makes the 1984 D dime truly astonishing is that these errors appear to be the result not of machine malfunction alone, but potentially of intentional manipulation, either as a minting experiment or as a covert act within the mint. Some experts suggest that this coin may have been the product of an unauthorized test strike or a deliberate creation by a mint employee, which would classify it as a mint error with intent, a category that includes some of the most valuable and controversial coins in American history. To date, only one specimen of the 1984 D-era dime has been confirmed with this exact combination of flaws. Its discovery is shrouded in mystery, with some reports suggesting it was found in a coin roll purchased from a small-town bank, while others claim it emerged from a private estate collection. What's certain, however, is that once it was authenticated by top grading authorities, including the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, it ignited a firestorm of interest among top collectors and high-end investors. Its auction story is almost as compelling as the coin itself. When the 1984 D-era dime hit the private auction circuit, intense bidding wars broke out. Wealthy collectors from around the globe, including some known coin magnates and anonymous bidders operating through agents, battled to add this one-of-a-kind error to their vaults. The final sale price a jaw-dropping $11 million, making it one of the most expensive U.S. coins ever sold, despite being one of the smallest in size and weight. Now, imagine finding one of these in your pocket change. Could there be more out there? The answer is, quite possibly yes. While only one officially authenticated example has reached the spotlight, it's entirely possible that other 1984 D dimes with similar or partial error traits are floating in circulation, stashed away in drawers, jars, and forgotten coin collections. That's why coin experts always advise closely inspecting your change, especially older coins from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You never know when you might stumble upon an overlooked fortune. To fully appreciate what makes the 1984 D dime such a historic piece, we must delve into how the U.S. Mint operates and how errors like these can occur. During the 1980s, the minting process was transitioning from older mechanical methods to more automated systems. This meant that while the technology was improving, human oversight was still critical. Dies were being manually aligned, coins were still subject to human inspection, and with millions of coins minted daily, even a small oversight could lead to significant errors being struck and released into circulation. Each step of the minting process offers an opportunity for errors. From the die preparation stage, where the designs are engraved and hardened for use, to the actual striking of the coin when the planchet is pressed between two dies under tremendous pressure, minute flaws in alignment, temperature, or equipment calibration can result in rare error coins. These coins often go unnoticed during quality checks and slip into general circulation, especially when the errors are subtle or the coin passes through automated sorting systems too quickly to be flagged. In the case of the 1984 D dime, the convergence of multiple rare errors in a single coin points to an extraordinary event, either a spectacular mechanical failure, a deliberate test, or potentially even a clandestine act. There are precedents for such occurrences. Famous error coins like the 1955 double die cent or the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarter were initially discovered by chance and later validated as authentic mint errors. These coins now fetch tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the 1984 D dime surpasses them all in rarity and value.